Have you ever felt that some friendships are strong enough to survive distance, defeats, and the constant changes of football? In a world where everything moves too fast, where heroes rise and fall in a matter of seasons, there are bonds that refuse to break. And few bonds in football are as powerful, as magical, and as painfully unfinished as the one between Lionel Messi and Neymar Jr. Some people say that goodbyes are necessary, but reunions are divine. And if there was ever a reunion capable of stopping time, of silencing stadiums, of shaking memories awake, it was this one. Not because of marketing, not because of spectacle, but because they had a story that life never let them finish. The last time Messi and Neymar looked at each other as teammates, neither of them felt peace. They were not walking away from joy. They were walking away from noise, pressure, and a storm they never deserved. In Barcelona, they had been pure happiness, two kids laughing and training, inventing plays that broke the laws of football, creating art on the field as if destiny itself had scripted their movements. In Paris, everything was different. Too different. The expectations were too heavy, the criticism too loud, the spotlight too harsh. Somewhere between the pressure and the pain, their football stopped being free. And just like that, without choosing it, they were separated. Neymar carried a sentence he never said out loud. I wasn't done playing with him. And Messi left with a silence only he understood. Not like this, not this way. How deep can a farewell hurt when you know it wasn't supposed to be a farewell at all? Only they truly know. But when they met again after years of distance, it didn't start with words. It started with a hug. A long hug. A real one. A hug that said everything they had never said in front of cameras. Neymar smiled with that childlike brightness he never lost. Messi answered with the calm of someone who has survived every storm. And suddenly, the years disappeared. No clubs, no reporters, no tactics, just two friends finding their rhythm again. Neymar broke the silence first, half laughing, half crying inside. Brother, this was missing. We needed to be happy on the field again. Messi gave him that short smile that always means more than it shows. We never stopped being happy. Because with them, words were optional. They always were. What united Messi and Neymar wasn't just talent. It wasn't just goals. It was that invisible thread between souls that meet once in a lifetime. The world saw football. They felt something deeper. Football is strange like that. The greatest legends always carry the greatest unanswered questions. What if they had played together longer? What if destiny hadn't pushed them apart? What if the story had the ending it deserved? But life, in its own poetic way, gives you what you need not when you want it, but when you're finally able to understand it. Messi and Neymar always knew football was temporary. Fame fades, clubs change, coaches rotate, systems evolve. But real connection survives everything. Playing together had stopped being a football decision long ago. It had become emotional, personal, almost spiritual. When two players understand each other without speaking, without looking, without planning, that is not training. That cannot be taught. That is a gift. And Messi and Neymar shared that gift from day one. Just when the world had accepted they would never play together again, something unexpected happened. A message. A conversation short enough to fit inside a breath. A simple question that changed everything. Shall we try again? It wasn't business. It wasn't strategy. It was hard. Messi was looking for peace. Neymar was looking for belonging. Both were looking for the closure life had denied them. And suddenly, as if the universe decided they deserved one more chapter, the reunion became real. The first moments in the dressing room said it all. Laughter, inside jokes only they remembered, that feeling of we're home again, floating in the air. It didn't matter how much time had passed. Real bonds don't age. Then came the first training session. A short pass, a 1-2, a look, a smile. Coaches stopped. Teammates stared. Even the grass seemed to react differently. They weren't just practicing. They were reconnecting. And everyone watching could feel it. It was as if football had found a missing piece of itself. The day of their first match back together was not like any ordinary game. There was a strange electricity running through the stadium, an unspoken belief that something historic was about to return. As they stepped out of the tunnel side by side, the noise didn't sound like cheering. It sounded like relief. Neymar looked at Messi with that mischievous spark and whispered, "Ready to have fun again?" Messi answered with a tiny nod, the kind he always gives right before rewriting a story. And in that moment, football recovered something it had lost: joy, freedom, art. The version of the game that reminds you that before the contracts, before the trophies, before the fame, football was just a game between friends. When Neymar received that first pass from Messi, the entire stadium inhaled at once. A déjà vu, a memory revived, a small piece of Barcelona reborn in a different shirt. A wall pass, a dribble, a smile, a goal. But the real beauty wasn't in the goal. It wasn't even in the play. It was in the way they celebrated, hugging, laughing like teenagers, like two kids who refused to let life take away the magic they once created together. And in that instant, the world understood something powerful. Their story had never ended. It had simply paused. The second half of the match didn't just belong to the scoreboard. It belonged to memories, to gestures, to unspoken conversations. Every movement Messi and Neymar made together seemed to rewrite the rules of possibility. The passes weren't just tactical. They were intimate, almost telepathic. Neymar would make a run, and Messi would already know where to place the ball. A glance, a subtle nod, and the entire field seemed to contract around them, like the universe itself was giving them room to perform the art they had been denied for so long. It was the kind of football that doesn't just entertain, it makes hearts stop because it reminds you what the game once was and what it could still be. But amidst the beauty, there was the haunting awareness of everything that had passed. The years of separation, the wrong turns, the criticisms, the failed expectations. They were all there, lingering behind their smiles. Neymar felt it, Messi felt it, and yet, somehow, it didn't matter. Because they were here now, alive in the moment that the world had been waiting for without even knowing it. There was a poetry in that, how life sometimes offers a second chance, not because it is fair, but because it is necessary. And for two souls so intricately connected, necessity was all that mattered. Off the pitch, the reunion was no less profound. The locker room became a sanctuary where words were sparse, but meaning was immense. Simple conversations carried layers of nostalgia. One joke would bring them back to Camp Nou. One shared memory would collapse years of distance into a single breath. The camaraderie wasn't performative. It wasn't about cameras. It was a revelation. That true connection never fades, and when it is reignited, it burns brighter than before. Neymar would laugh at a small anecdote from a Barcelona training session. Messi would smile knowingly, and in that silent understanding, the rest of the world was erased.